Hello everyone. Welcome back to lindasueplantsforyou. For those of you who are following me, and welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you so much. It really helps a lot, and it makes me very happy to see that people are interested enough in my content to actually subscribe to it. So thank you. Before I get started on this plant, I wanted to just take a moment. I happen to think, you know, I'm not able to send out plants and things through the mail right now, so I was trying to figure out a way to just give a little extra shout out to those of you who comment a lot and who take the time to do that. And I saw on one or two other channels over the last few months, there were other YouTubers that were taking the time to thank people individually. So I thought I would try that as well. Was not my idea. I just want to put that out there. But I thought it was a great idea. So I'm going to start with, I have typed up the names. I've gone back through my videos, some of them as far as a year. So I just want to say ahead of time, if I missed anybody, please don't be upset about it. I am going to try really hard to make it a point to keep track of everyone going forward as it happens. But for this one, the initial one, I had to go back through a lot of videos, and I got to over a year, and this is what I got. But I'm not going to name all of these names today. I'm going to do a few at each video until I've gone through all of them. So if your name if I do not mention you today, please don't be hurt, because you're most likely on this list. And I did put it in alphabetical order so that I could keep track of everyone, in the hope that somewhere down the road, when I'm doing better health-wise, I will be able to actually maybe send out a little something as a thank you to helping me grow my channel. So that's my plan. That's my goal. You haven't heard from me in a little while because I had a lot of dates in the last week with doctors. And some people call them appointments. I call them dates. And at the beginning of this journey is very, I guess the best word to explain it is hectic. So for the rest of this week and next week, it's just like back-to-back appointments, sometimes 2 in one day. And I've been just exhausted. So please bear with me. Once this is over, I don't think I let my followers know this yet, but my treatment for my cancer is going to be every 21 days. So yay for that. It's not a daily thing. It's not even a weekly thing. Once every 21 days. So there will be a period of 5 to 10 days out of each month where I'm probably not going to be able to film. But I say probably because I'm trying to be positive here, and I'm not, what do they call it? Foreboding. I'm not foreboding or expecting anything bad to be happening. But I do want to let you guys know so that you know I didn't just drop off the face of the earth. I'm still here. I miss you guys. I miss doing my videos. I really miss doing the nurturing part of my plants. And so I had a good day today. I thought I'd take advantage of it. All right, so let's get started for what you came here for. For my first list, I want to thank Sefcat, Claudia Carrasco, and please, if I mispronounce your name, you can let me know in the comment section, but this is the best I can do. This next one kind of trips me up. It's Detangers, I think. Detangers. Elsie's Flora. Fernando Charlton. Helen Goodwin. It's Me, Rebecca. Janice Martinez Davis. I think it's Jeanette Lee. And Jennifer Vossler. You're in the first part of my list, and as I said, I have put them in alphabetical order for ease of adding to them at a later date. So if your name falls after I don't use the last names. I use the first letter of each commenter. So if I haven't mentioned your name, you might be in the next one. But thank you all for commenting. I appreciate you so much. All right, now, this plant is called the Bloody Mary Phildodendron. I received this from an old friend of mine, and when I got it, it was just a little twig of a thing, and I appreciate getting it and watching it grow up. But I just was having trouble getting it for the first, I don't know, 6 months or so that I had it. It wasn't doing anything. I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And so I had called her and asked her about it, and she said it needs more humidity and brighter light. Well, I had it under 2 bright LED lights, and it's in and amongst a bunch of plants where the humidity is average, 55 to 60%. So I wasn't sure if that was not enough or what was going on. Well, I repotted it into a bigger pot, and it took off, and that's what I changed about it. Now you can see on the bottom here these little tiny leaves compared to these, which are much bigger and getting bigger every week. So I did do some research on my own as well, and that research said that this plant needs really high humidity, which is probably higher than what I'm giving it. But it also said, which I thought was really interesting, that the plant, this particular philodendron, will be stifled by the growth will be stifled by by the room that it's given to grow. Now I know that happens with fish, but I didn't know it happened with plants. But I'm assuming that maybe it did, because the bulk of the plants are on this plant and about this height. And now look at how tall, how big these leaves are. So there must be something to it. So I am going to move it and hope that it doesn't go into shock, because I'm also going to propagate it today real quickly here. And the way I'm going to do that is you can propagate this plant any way you want. You can do it in water, peat, spag, peat moss, peat perlite, vermiculite, or right back in the soil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I can get 2 cuttings from this. I think I'll be able to. And I'm going to do one in the soil with the mother plant, and I'm going to do the other one in perlite. Now I've been doing the perlite propagation here for a few months, and I can tell you I am extremely happy with the results. And I tried propagating in perlite before. I had okay luck, but it wasn't like it was this time. But last time, I don't think I was giving it enough light. So I thought I'd try it again, and I did that a few months ago. And I'm going to be filming that too, to show you the results that I got on that, on cuttings that I'm making for my granddaughter. Okay, so we're going to start with it's very important to start with a clean cutting tool. And I have washed this thoroughly with my alcohol and water spray. And you can use any combination you want. I'm starting to use 50-50. I used to use 1/3 alcohol to 2/3 water, and I think I started out with 1/4 versus 3/4 because I was scared to death to put alcohol on my plants. But over the years, I've been seeing more and more people are using. I've even seen them use straight alcohol, which, by the way, I have. When I had the thrips, I used the straight alcohol, and it didn't hurt any of my plants, not even my calatheas, which surprised me. So I've upped the alcohol content to 50, and by the way, it's 70% the alcohol itself. You can buy that at 3%, 50%, minus 70%. So I've got 70% alcohol, and I've got it half and half water, half and half alcohol in my spray bottle, and that's what I use to clean my tools. Okay, some of you have heard this many times, but for those of you that haven't, I don't want to leave you out, so I apologize if I'm being repetitive. All right, let's see, where should we do this? I think we're going to take our owl off. That was one of the presents I got with my Christmas gifts, or I think Mother's Day maybe. Yeah, Mother's Day from my daughter. She got a whole bunch of these. I think it was at the Dollar Tree. She got elephants and bears and all kinds of stuff. So, all right, let's do this. Let's take this out. And I think I'm going to take this out too. I used this in a pinch at the last minute. It's actually kind of pliable. And I don't remember if this was, I believe this was an aerial root at one time, I think. I don't remember now, but it bends. So that was not the best thing to use, but that's all I had at the time, so that's what I did. I think we're going to start at the bottom because I don't want this to break off. And I want to get 2 cuttings. Now we like to see at least 3 leaves on the cutting. And then we want to expose a minimum of 1 node so that we get roots. And it will branch out where you cut it off. Like most plants. Not all, but most. So let me see. What do I do? What do I do? I think I'm going to cut this right here. Now I know this is, I know, and Cephcat, I know this is killing you right now, and it's kind of killing me too, to be honest with you. Ugh, I just hate that feeling of cutting into a plant, especially a perfectly healthy plant. But it's how we get them to grow, so. All right, here we go. There. It wasn't too hard. All right. Now, I want to cut. I want to make 2 cuttings here, so I got them. What I'm looking for is where I have the longest stem, so that I can hopefully get a couple nodes. And I was going to cut this one right here, but, well, maybe that is where I should cut it. Yeah, maybe that is. Because I can see a node here. There's a little node right here. And yeah. I mean, I could cut it anywhere here. But I'm looking for existing nodes, of which I have 2 here. And I'm going to have another one because I'm going to cut off these bottom 3 leaves. So, I think, yeah. Well, let's start here first because I need to see how much am I going to have left. Because this has to go in soil. And one more. Another interesting fact or thing that I learned is that these put out very wide roots very quickly when you put them in water. So the video that I saw on this, she put it in a very wide jar, her cutting, so that the roots had room to spread out without curling up around each other. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. You're going to have to bear with me a moment. Come on in here, honey. I got to take a moment. I got to take a break, but I'm going to keep you on. Can you hold that in front of this camera without bumping the camera? Hold it over here. Oh, that's heavy. Look at the pretty, look. Look what my hubby just brought home for me. Isn't it beautiful? And it's hand painted on top. I have no idea where we're going to hang it, but isn't it beautiful?
More junk.
Wow.
More junk.
Thank you. Okay, I had to stop. I'm sure that you all would enjoy seeing that. So, okay. He's always bringing me treasures. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut this off. And I was talking about the roots, right? Yeah, and the roots grow out real wide. So when you put it in your container, I wouldn't have needed this big of a container, but I wanted to make sure it was wide enough to accommodate the new roots. So now you can see we've got 1, 2, 3 nodes here. And we have to leave, or we should at least leave 2 to 3 leaves on the cutting. So we got 1, 2, I'm going to cut it right here. So we're going to have at least I'm losing it, folks. I know I already cut a cutting off. Where did I put it? Well, maybe I didn't. I was starting to do that. Okay. Alright. So we're going to leave 1, 2, 3. No, we're going to leave 2. I'm going to cut it right here. And that's going to be 1 cutting, and it's got 2 leaves on it. And this one, I'm going to just cut the leaves off the bottom. Now what I didn't do is I didn't check on whether or not you could propagate it by leaf cuttings. So before I get rid of these, I am going to go back and look and see if I can find anything on that. If any of you know if I can do that, please comment right away. And I'll put these in water for tonight, these leaves. And if we can propagate by leaf cutting, then by all means I will be doing that. Okay, so this is what we're left with for the top cutting, which is really basically the bulk of the plant, right? I have several nodes here, so I'm not going to cut any more of this plant off. And I hope I'm doing the right thing, because I know, and I've told you this actually, that the more leaves you allow to stay on your cutting, the harder it is to root, because it's busy trying to feed the leaves instead of growing new roots. So I'm a little bit leery, and you know, I'm actually leery to the point where I think I'm going to cut these bottom 2 off, because that still leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 leaves and a new one about ready to unfurl. Ugh. You know, and this is going in the perlite. So in order for this to hold this up, I'm really thinking I need to cut these 2 off. But I'm not sure. Or maybe I'll just put this in there. I think I will. I think I'm going to put this in the perlite. And I'm going to stick this down in there, but I want to put some rooting powder on there first. Alright, I want to make sure and do another fresh cut on an angle. And they say that they bleed red, and they do. I don't know. This one isn't bleeding very much. But that's, I guess, how it got its name, Bloody Mary. I think they said it's the only one that doesn't, the only philodendron, the red philodendron that does that. I'm pretty sure that's what I learned a while ago, but you know, my memory's not the best nowadays, so if I'm wrong on that, feel free to correct me, but I don't think I am. Okay, I'm going to stick this in here. Now, I do remember hearing that you should use at least a 6-inch stem when you're doing cuttings, but I only heard that one time on one channel, and it was a while ago, but I don't think I need a full 6 inches. I think this is going to be sufficient. I do need to widen this hole somehow and get it to stay wide, because if I don't, then I can't even get it in there what I got cut, so.
It's a lot better clean.
Oh, and he cleaned it up for me too. We definitely need to find a spot for that.
Yeah, right. Take that.
Okay. There.
Colors the wall.
I think this will work. This perlite on the top has dried out already a little bit, so I will add some more water. And you know what else? I think I'm going to need to use a taller support, which, I guess I can use this. Let me see. Yeah, let's see if this will cut. Alright. No, it doesn't want to cut. Oh, my blade is a little dull, but nope. It doesn't. I'm going to cut this down and stick this in here. I want this support to come up over the leaves because I don't want to, I want to just drape a bag over the top of it to keep the moisture in. But I will do that later. I'm not going to make you wait till I go cut this and all that. So, but this is how it's going to be. I'll have this secured to this post, and then I will put the stick will come out this far. Therefore, the bag will lay on the stick and not on the plant leaves. One really important thing to note: be careful when you are rooting anything, because if you have a plant in the bag and it's moist and wet in there and the leaves lean up against that plastic for a length of time, they will rot eventually. So that's an important thing to know. Alright, so I'm going to set her aside for now. And then I'm going to stick this one in here. Where did I put it? Okay. We're going to stick this one. Give her a little rooting powder. This is not necessary, folks, but sometimes it helps and sometimes it doesn't matter. But you never know if it's going to help or not unless you use it. So when I'm really excited to make sure something's going to root, I do use it, or I try to remember to use it, I should say. Alright, we're going to put this right here. Oh, I don't want to go down there far. Okay, that should do it. And this one won't need a support for a while. This little guy might. And we can maybe use that black one for this one. So I know it doesn't look real great right now, but it will eventually. So, alright, let me get this cleaned up. I'm going to stake this and stake that and clean up my mess, and then I'll show you the result when I'm done. Okay, so stand by. Okay, so we got her all cleaned up. This is the smaller cutting with the original mama plant, and this is the larger cutting. I'm a little bit worried about this just because it's got so many leaves on it, but it's got a pretty hefty stem, so I'm going to keep a close eye on this. And then I found I have a package of bamboo sticks, and I just cut one down, and I'm just going to put a bag over it so it kind of keeps some of the moisture in, and I'll check on it periodically. One thing to note is you don't want to ever have, when you're rooting in perlite, you don't want to have water at the bottom, and I see I have a little bit there, so I'm going to try and drain that out, and then best to just spray, because that if you have water sitting at the bottom of that down here, it can rot it. Also, I wanted to remind you that what I learned about not having this plant too crowded, because that will determine the growth of your leaves, according to what I was learning on that, which that really surprised me. So I thought I better mention that one more time. And then also, I haven't found anything. I did some research before I came back on to see if I could find anything on rooting just the leaf, maybe in perlite, but I can't find anything on single leaf. And my guess is probably not, but I don't want to rule it out because there are a lot of plants that you can root with just a single leaf. Peperomia family is a good example of that, and also a lot of the begonias, if they have the roots growing through the leaves. So there's a lot of plants that you can root just by one leaf cutting with no nodes, but I don't believe this is one of them. So if anybody has done that and has good success, please let us know, because I got about 10 leaves on my island there that I would love to be able to root. If I don't hear anything back by tomorrow on that, I will probably just try sticking them in something, probably perlite, and do my own experiment and see what happens. But perlite rooting is difficult for me because it's something you got to be on top of, because you don't want that to dry out. And whereas soil rooting is a lot easier for me to take care of. So I prefer not to have to do that if I can, but we'll see. So that's it for today. I hope you've learned something. I hope I've helped you. And again, I appreciate you all. If you are not a subscriber, I did notice, I went into my analytics a while ago and I was looking, it tells you in my YouTube analytics how many people are watching versus how many are actually subscribed. I've got hundreds and hundreds of people that view my videos on a regular basis but are not subscribed. So I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell and then hit all for notifications. That way you won't miss anything. You know, you can always ignore it and just not view it, but if you don't want to miss any episodes, then hit that all so that you're notified when I do a new one. And you can also share it, you know, on Facebook and Twitter and all kinds of places you can share my videos. So I appreciate all your help in this, and I wish you all a good rest of your day, although by the time I get this up, it's probably going to be evening. And so I'll wish you a good week if I don't see you before then. How's that? All right, well, thank you again all for watching. Take care. Bye now.